Reverb is such a big part of modern electronic music, and as mixes has gotten louder and more advanced, so has the demand for more complex reverb setups. Trust me, it's no longer enough to just throw a reverb and an EQ on a send track. That will only get you about 80% of the way these days. So in this video, I'm going to show you the reverb tricks that can take your reverb to that professional standard, how to make them sound bigger without washing out the mix, and how to use reverb to make drops hit harder. These are the exact techniques I use to create big and impressive reverbs in my mixes. Let's get into it. Number 1. Sidechain. Using sidechain today is a given, right? Everybody knows that it's a good idea to sidechain reverb to the source so that every time the source is active, the reverb ducks out of the way. That's standard. That's not what we're looking at here. What we're looking at here is more so carving out space for other elements that are active during the reverb. Elements such as claps, snares, orchestral drum hits, and so on. This can sometimes be necessary for extreme loudness or just good practice to increase clarity between elements. Here's an example where space is being carved out for the clap. Number 2. Pre-delay. In reverb, the pre-delay determines the time it takes for the reverb to kick in. No pre-delay means the reverb starts immediately after triggering, and with longer pre-delays, the reverb process is just being delayed. This is an important aspect of sound design. When it's too fast, the reverb washes out the attack of the lead because it practically starts at the same time. This is why it's a good idea to implement a decent amount of pre-delay to give room for the attack part to come through before the reverb develops. Real quick guys, check out my website. There's helpful free tools like this spectrum analyzer, and if you use Silent One, this preset pack is as good as it gets for hardstyle leads. Scan the code or use the link in the description. Number 3. Saturation. In the last video, we discovered how saturation has a compressive effect while adding density to the signal through harmonics, and that's an effect that can be utilized for reverbs as well. Saturation often has a compacting effect on reverbs, meaning it makes the reverb feel denser and just tightens everything up a bit. This can help maximize the reverb in presence and loudness, but be careful, this can definitely be overdone. Number 4. Cut transients before reverb. In modern hardstyle leads, the attack part of the lead typically has a very transient nature. This makes the lead more energetic and aggressive, but it also affects how the reverb sounds. When we put reverb on transient sounds in general, the reverb has a hard time reproducing the actual tone of the material, because the transient is just a big burst of energy, and the result is a very undefined and washy reverb tail. So if your lead has very transient attacks, consider taming those transients before they go into your reverb. To do this without affecting your actual lead, use a send channel for your reverb and then place a transient designer before your reverb plugin. With the transient designer, we can tame the attacky part of the lead before it heads into the reverb. So now the signal that goes into the reverb has less transients, and with that, the reverb body will often sound cleaner and more tonal. Number 5. Sidecut after reverb. We want our reverbs to be wide, but the side signal in the lower mid frequencies can sound muddy so quickly, not only for your lead but for everything else as well. Sometimes, instead of decreasing the overall width to deal with this problem, what's really needed is cutting out the mud, but only in the side signal. This will often clear up the mud in the mix tremendously, and as long as you still have width in the upper part of the reverb will still sound big and spacious. Number 6. Adjust width before reverb. Once again, controlling what goes into the reverb can drastically change what comes out of the reverb. And controlling the width of the lead before the reverb makes big changes to the sound of the reverb itself. So watch this. Which elements predominantly sit in the mid signal of the lead? That's typically the top lead, right? And which elements predominantly sit in the side signal? That's the chord. So if you want the reverb to sound more like your chord, you increase the side signal. And the other way around, if you want it to sound more like the mid signal, you increase the mid signal. Number 7. Compress the reverb tail. Compressing the reverb tail is doing a couple of things. It ensures a more constant reverb level, it makes the tails longer, making them stay present for longer, and it helps control the dynamics of the reverb. All these things help create a more present and controlled reverb. You can also go the extreme route and use compression to really make the reverb pop. Alright guys, those were 7 ways to improve your reverb. Tell me which ones you're gonna try in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.